What's up, y'all? Got another cleaning business recap for June 2025. It's crazy. It's been a year and a half already of running this thing, but we're still on that road to 50K a month. We'll get there one day. But some key milestones, lessons learned from this past month, and then our course of action for the month of July. So key milestones, SEO has been the main theme this past month in June. Got 2 leads generated from ChatGPT search. So after anybody calls me, and if I don't see them coming from ads or anything, I just ask them, how did they find me? And 2 people said through searching up ChatGPT. One person was specifically post-construction cleanup near me in ChatGPT, and that was a penthouse near Miami, which was crazy. We didn't get it because the owner, apparently he didn't want to spend more than like $300, and this penthouse was 8,000 square feet, and they needed a post remodel cleaning, so it didn't work out. But it was really cool to see for us to get that opportunity. And you know, I got photos from that walkthrough and I posted it on my Google, so I don't care. Got a bunch of leads from SEO, mainly post-construction. The main theme was SEO and post-construction this month. We got post-construction for a restaurant, and then just a couple of days ago, to end the month, about 1,900. They paid $2,000 in total with the tip. Post-construction of a house that was left vacant for like 7 years, pretty much, and which I guess they found us organically because it didn't come from my ads, which was dope. Then, you know, this last week I was a little bit down, not down, but I was like, damn, we don't have a lot going on. Just our recurring clients, but not a ton of new cleanings. We got 2 deep cleanings totaling about 1,100 together this past Friday. And then on Saturday this weekend, got hit up by this first post-construction that I mentioned, and then got a call from somebody from a Google ads I could see from the conversion data. It turned out to be a Florida Panther player, and we closed him for a $2,500 deep cleaning. So in that last few days, we just hit like close to $5,000 in sales just from 2 clients, which was really cool and unexpected. But this one especially, we got it's a very luxury, obviously high-end client, so hoping to convert him into recurring. But it took us about 7 hours with a team of 6. I definitely went, you already know that. Again, to get photos and videos, 6,000 square foot home. I got to meet the guy. It was super cool. He had no problem paying this because it was also last minute. We had to do it on Sunday. And yeah, he liked the work. I'm hoping that turns into recurring because obviously he knows other players or whatever, people in his circle that could use cleaning. So that would be awesome. And another milestone, close a new general contractor through email marketing. So we have this cleaning on Saturday. It's a post-construction cleaning of a new build, another 3,700 square foot place for $3,200. I made a video the other day about it. So that was through email marketing. He was like the first email my system sent out, which was awesome. And he just sent me an email back within maybe 30 minutes, giving me an address to come take a look. So that was really awesome. And he's got other properties that he's working on, other projects. One project is right next door to this that he's building. So considering email marketing is like $185 a month, around there, to manage the system, it was close to a 17x return, something like that, which is amazing. So happy with that. And I think like one of the biggest milestones, we got a new team members, subcontractors, a team of 2, mother and daughter team, and they just been like all stars, you know, great attitude. They've been doing great work as far as the quality, and yeah, no flaking or anything like that. We've been dealing with a lot of flakers recently, so this has been awesome to get them on the team, and obviously it helps a lot with the output. So those are like my main milestones and some lessons learned kind of relating to the fulfillment of the cleanings is be very specific with the scope of work. I always give the cleaners a checklist so they know what's going to be done, and a lot of the times it's specific stuff depending on the house. So I'm going to start writing more clearly what not to do, not just write what to do, but also what not to do. Because, for example, we had a deep cleaning last week, Friday, one of those new ones, and I priced it lower because they didn't want like the inside of the shower cleaned or any of the cabinets cleaned, none of the windows or the blinds, a whole room upstairs. They didn't want it to be touched. And then when my cleaning team got there, obviously the place is still dirty, but they were sending me photos of what they're doing. I see people going in the cabinets, and then she's telling me that it should be a lot more, but they've already started. So it's just a confusion on what was to be done, and I think I priced it pretty fairly, considering the things that we weren't going to do, but we weren't on the same page there. So I just take that responsibility, and moving forward, make sure to do that. Another important lesson learned is have Airbnb clients sign an agreement. So we had an Airbnb client we started working with this past October, and everything was going good, and then close to around March, it got to a point where he was 6 invoices behind, and it's $235 a pop. So $1,400 behind on invoices. And we just told him we're not going to do any more service moving forward until we get paid. And he just had a bunch of excuses that he's going through litigation and his accounts are frozen, so he can't pay us or any other contractors. But he still expects us to work, to answer him and communicate with him about a different client. We're also doing the cleaning for that he does the property management for. So long story short, took him to small claims court, submitted all that. It's just such a waste of time and money as well. And I think because we didn't have it signed, he might be able to get out of it. Not really sure. I have a Zoom meeting with the judge in 30 days. But if we had it signed, a signed agreement, and in there a clause that says we're going to charge your card on file, or we need a card on file, and we will charge it, and have him sign that. That way I wouldn't have to even go through all this. I would just charge his payment file. I might still do that anyways. I don't know. What's the worst that can happen? He just does a claim against the card, and then it gets charged back. I don't know. So just a total waste of time and a headache. So from now on, we have a new Airbnb client. First thing we said to them is we're gonna put your card on file and charge you after every service. You have to sign that agreement. Luckily, we have this new duplex that I talked about in April. She's the best Airbnb client. She totally agreed with that. We just charge her, no friction. So that's what we have to do moving forward to avoid that stuff. And course of action. So moving forward, find more subcontractors. That's always there. I mean, that's just a main thing because of obviously the output. Oh, let me show the Stripe. Yeah, so this was, I would say, our best month. We pretty much touched 20,000. I think we might have been just underneath it. And that's similar to what we did in February. But as you can see, let me change to June. It's the most that we got in Stripe, at least processed, but with Zelle and checks and everything, hit that 20K. And that was from a deep cleaning on a school. Again, with that Panther player, the post-construction, and then some of the smaller deep cleans that we got as well. So we hit that. Really cool to see that we're going up. And I know I said this before, but just kind of staying patient and trying to build momentum, because it's really nice to see over time how things are growing. To be honest, I expected to be closer to that 50K a month mark, but it's just not as easy as it seems, I think. A lot of it depends on your market, I believe. obviously how many cleaners and the quality of cleaners you have, and then of course the lead flow to get to that point. It really takes a lot to get to that point with this type of business, but it's definitely doable because I know people who do it, and I mean we're on the way. So as you can see, obviously this isn't all of it, but you can see the upward trend, which is the point I'm trying to make. From January and ever since, we've just been going up and up, trying to stack more recurring revenue, keep that baseline, and push it. So happy to see that, you know. And now course of action, more outreach for post-construction jobs. This business, it's still remote in the sense that I have subcontractors doing all my recurring cleanings, but because I have my girl and her mom, like we're a family business at the end of the day now, and we really care about the quality, but it also allows us to go out and do these bigger jobs is what I'm finding. So post-construction, these like massive deep cleaning jobs that I think would be a bit harder to handle if you're doing it all completely remote and not in the field at all, to kind of keep up with that quality control. So more outreach, especially for this location. And this is taking me to my last part here. I'm gonna test out meta ads. I tested out a little bit, but I spoke with somebody, another clean business owner in Toronto, who's doing really well and building up too. He's done meta ads, and he gave me some tips that sound really cool. So I'm going to test that out. And this is like the big course of action for me and something I'm really excited about. I want to start a new actually remote cleaning location. By remote, I mean not in my area. Like there's no way I can physically get to a cleaning or anything if something goes wrong. I want it to be completely remote, and a few reasons. One, I have the SOPs, I have the systems in place. I need to get booking koala is the only thing I'm missing really to like systemize all this stuff. But I got the Zadaft CRM, which is high level, and you have everything in there, phone line, automations, and all the good stuff. So I've done it before. I know I could just do it somewhere else. I'd like to test a different market, completely different than where I'm at now. I'm in like a pretty major market. I would test something smaller. And two, because I have my current locations, like I got my girl and her mom, there's a lot of opinions in it. I'm very thankful for having them because it's made things better, in my opinion. But I like to run the business myself. You know, I would like to get back to where my initial idea was. I will always from the start wanted to do the remote cleaning method, not so much get into the family business. I like how it turned out, but I really want to start a new location because it's creating another asset. I can roll some of this recurring revenue I'm getting and profit into this and feed this and just like build up that kind of dividend, if you will. And I think it would be cool to kind of go through the process of starting it up. So market research, starting up the business, you know, legal foundations and all that good stuff. And then, yeah, documenting the growth of that. I want to implement a VA into it and be completely hands off, just a complete separate asset that grows on its own, and build it to sell within the next year and a half would be the goal of that. And just keep rinsing and repeating it pretty much. So that's the goal. Those are my course of actions. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy the way June turned out. It's definitely takes a lot of effort, a lot of consistent effort, and you know, keep chugging along, y'all. So thanks for watching. If y'all have any questions or anything that I could talk about, I know I mentioned this a lot, just let me know. It does help me get ideas of what to make a video about. But yeah, appreciate y'all watching, subscribing, and reaching out. It is really cool to meet everybody also in the business, people who want to grow and make something of their own. So yeah, take care.